Worcester City Councilor at Large Tu Nguyen taking a month-long mental health break. Nguyen uses the pronouns they, them, and
I really wished I felt safe enough to show up on the council floor, but I don't.
Just when I thought I'd seen it all, this non-binary politician took things to a new low. And up first, we've got to turn to my home state of Massachusetts because a non-binary city council member is melting down in truly extraordinary fashion and finessing a month-long vacation using woke victimhood, I guess? Take a listen to some local news reporting.
Worcester City Councilor at Large Tu Nguyen taking a month-long mental health break, accusing the mayor and council of a toxic culture. Nguyen uses the pronouns they, them, and says it's not safe to show up to meetings in person.
I really wished I felt safe enough to show up on the council floor, but I don't.
Last night, when talking about remote participation, Nguyen accused the mayor and another councilor, Kathleen Toomey, of using the wrong pronouns. Nguyen also says Councilor Candy Merrow Carlson repeatedly called them it.
I have faced transphobia with being misgendered and recently learned that I have been dehumanized to a point where I'm being referred to as it by my colleagues on this council.
Councilor Toomey says early on when the councilor was elected, I did make an honest error in addressing the councilor and may have done so a few times, for which I apologized. There has never been any intentional or consistent misgendering. I have been mindful to address the councilor respectfully in the manner in which they identify over the past 3 years. Now, Councilor Merrow Carlson telling us, while I do not recall making the statements in question, I acknowledge that it was a challenging and emotional week where difficult conversations took place. These claims, however, misrepresent my character, my record, and the values I have consistently upheld. We did reach out to the mayor, and we also reached out to Councilor Nguyen, but did not hear back from either. The city manager's office confirms an investigation is underway.
Well, we better hope that this DEI investigation gets to the bottom of things and stops this egregious war crime from taking place in Massachusetts. I mean, what's so funny to me about this is I'm from Massachusetts. I know the politics there. The people involved here are all Democrats, I believe. And at least some of them are moderate Democrats. So they're not necessarily far left, but like, this is not a Republican Christian city council bullying this poor they, them. No, this is moderate Democrats trying to get to business, trying to do work. And this person is playing a victim script because they want unlimited vacation time and not to do the job that they were elected to do. Give me a break, babe. This is ridiculous. I mean, we've got reporting here from NBC Boston. According to the mayor, Councilor Nguyen has missed half of the traffic and parking subcommittee meetings and has not held a meeting for the public service and transportation subcommittee that they chair. Failing to participate in these essential responsibilities is unacceptable. I will not apologize for holding myself and my colleagues accountable to the responsibilities entrusted to us by the people we serve. Being available, accessible, and engaged is a fundamental expectation of our roles, and it is critical to the success of the city. So this chick just literally doesn't want to do her job. She literally just wants, I guess, the taxpayer-funded salary, but to not have to show up to work. And so she's spinning out, crashing out like this, throwing a tantrum, and trying to claim that it's unsafe at work in this Democrat-dominated city council because a couple people may have misgendered her with her not legitimate pronouns. They, them, and non-binary is not legitimate. I wouldn't use it if I was her colleague. But even then, there's a lot of dispute about how much misgendering actually happened. It sounds from what I've read about this, like this was a couple years ago. A few times people misspoke, apologized for it, and moved on. These people aren't aggressively misgendering her at every opportunity, which even then, she should still do her job and she wouldn't be unsafe. But like, that's not even the situation. This chick is trying to exploit old allegations of a couple misgenders that happened to just not do her job, just not show up to work. It's just everything about woke victim politics perfectly encapsulated in one ridiculous and maddening story. And I hate this strain of safetyism that has infected so much of the left and so much of the LGBT community. You are not physically or emotionally unsafe simply because somebody doesn't refer to you exactly how you want to be referred to. The it thing is kind of funny to me because I wouldn't call someone it if that's not how they want to be called on purpose. But like, is it really that much more dehumanizing than them and they? Like, either way, it's kind of these neutral, like non-normal pronoun. It's like, it's really that's so offensive and harmful. I mean, some neo-pronoun people want to be called it or want to be called watermelon. So it's like kind of hard for people to keep up. Even pro-LGBTQ Democrats, like the colleagues that she's so mad at and thinks are so evil and bigoted, apparently, that she can't even be in the same room with them without being unsafe. It's ridiculous, because even if there was a lot of misgendering going on, grow up. You're an adult. You got to have basic thick skin to work with people who might not fully agree with you and might not constantly affirm all of your beliefs and delulu. That's not the end of the world. And if you can't get up and go to work and do your job because somebody might say something you don't agree with, you need help. You shouldn't be in a position of power. You shouldn't be an elected representative responsible for an entire city's well-being. You should be in remedial therapy, working on the fact that you have the emotional resilience of a toddler. And I don't say that as an insult. I say that as genuinely like, you need to work on you, because that's a problem. And the problem is not the people around you. The problem is internal. And I just think it's crazy. I mean, how is anyone standing for this? How are standards actually that low in progressive places like Massachusetts, where somebody can pull this kind of stunt? And I think everybody must be so afraid of being called a bigot, because all these other officials, like, they clarify, no, I'm not misgendering her. I'm not being mean. I promise. I'm an ally. Like, no, somebody should put out a statement that says, shut up, do your job, or resign. Nobody feels bad for you. You're not unsafe. Cope. Be an adult. And if you're not capable of that, you need to resign your position, because you're not capable of meeting the needs of your constituents and the people that entrusted you with a position of power. The standards in our society are just on the floor, especially when it comes to a marginalized community like non-binary. And that's actually condescending and insulting. We should have the same expectations for everybody, no matter what group they're a part of, no matter what box they check off on the census. It doesn't matter. We should still expect people to do the bare minimum, to go to work, to interact with people who might not fully agree with them on everything, and do their job. Am I crazy? Am I the one who's like hit the crack pipe too many times here? Or are they in the wrong? Are they wildin'? Because I feel like I'm interacting with a different species. First off, what does this have to do with me as a gay man and my community and my rights? Like, somebody who thinks they're not a female, even though they're a female, but then melts down if other people a couple of years ago, a few times, referred to them incorrectly and refuses to do their job. Like, please don't tie that to me. I don't see what that has to do with me, but we've all been lumped together in this category. Clearly, I think, in error and to our own detriment. But yeah, I just feel like I've taken crazy pills, because the fact that this kind of thing happens and then people are kind of dancing around it, like afraid to point out how insane it is because they don't want to offend somebody, you got to stop. Democrats, even moderates, even ones who are trying to be nice, you got to grow a spine at some point and crack down on the crazies on your side, because if you don't, they're going to keep driving y'all off a cliff. But what do you guys think of this story? Do you sympathize with our non-binary friend here? Let me know in the comments. I do read the comments, and I always take the time to read them and reply to a few of them. And do hit that like button if you haven't yet, and do make sure you're subscribed.